Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining our session today. My name is Magella O'Connor and my colleague Mark Reedy is joining me. We're going to be focusing on our products for Sage 100. Many of you may already know us for working in the Sage CRM space, but we are also a development partner for both Sage 100 and Sage 300. So our focus today is on Outlook integration and MobileX for Sage 100, which is a mobile app which allows you obviously to get mobile access from your smartphone. With the Outlook integration, it's similar to what it would do with Sage CRM. It establishes context based upon an email that you're highlighting. So one of the very big selling points for our product is that there is no Sage 100 user license required. So in your organization, you may have several staff members that are actively working with Sage 100 every day, predominantly perhaps in your accounting department, but your sales department, your marketing departments may also benefit from having viewing access of the Sage 100 data, and that's where our products come in. It isn't a live integration, but as you can see on the screen there, within Outlook, you would be able to establish the context based on an email highlighted. So in this particular screenshot, we're highlighting an email from Artie Johnson. And as you can see, Accelerator for Sage 100 has been switched on, and it's established context based on the email address and is displaying the information there. And Mark is going to go through a demo and will actually show how you can navigate through the different items. But I suppose from the outset, just to bear in mind that this is a standalone product. Sage CRM is not needed, nor is a license for Sage 100 required. You just need to have Accelerator and, if you wish, MobileX to give you this viewing point. Reasons you might consider investing in ACS 100, which is our abbreviation. We have a mix of partners and customers on the call today. So at a very generic level, Microsoft 365 is a very popular email platform. And obviously to have an Outlook integration means to be able to surface relevant information from Sage 100 according to who you're getting an email from would be a huge benefit. And again, not having to have an actual Sage 100 license, being able to actually view that data in context. Also allowing your entire team to be able to display Sage 100 data in Outlook means that they have a better idea of what's happening in accounts, the status of an invoice or where an order is at. And also you have the ability to record customer interactions with our system. It's a layer sitting on top of Sage 100, which when we attended Summit, a lot of customers mentioned that they would like to have within Sage 100. It's currently not facilitated, but with Accelerator and also MobileX, if you're using that, you have the ability to record customer interactions and to be able to look at those again. And for all of your team to then be aware of any conversations that may have taken place. And then from a very basic productivity level, you don't have to pick up the phone and ask accounts what's going on with the customer. You can see it within Outlook or again on your smartphone, which no switching of applications. You literally just turn it on and it establishes the context based upon the email that you're highlighting. So Mark is going to run through a demo for us now.
Hi everyone, and thanks very much for attending today. So yeah, I'll run through a demo here, as Magella said. So effectively what you see here is our screen with our email on it. And as you switch the email context, the system will actually change and look at different items. So in this case, it didn't find the match and it's going to prompt me to create a prospect. And you can see it fills in the details from the email itself. I'll return to prospects in a moment. If I select one of Magella's emails here, you can see now it matches on Magella's email address and brings up American Business Futures. What I've got is a basic summary of the details. I've got the email, phone number, the address as well. And if I want to dig into some more sensitive details, I can click on the details tab and you can see then the last activity, the credit limit, and any balance forward, any open order amounts, etc. that are available. Moving further along, you can see the orders that the client has put in. And again, you can drill into the order items itself. I'll show you that in a moment, where you can just see a few details, the customer PO number, for example. You can view invoices also. And if we scroll along, we've got our touch points. I'll come back to touch points in a moment. We've got memos as well. So if you have a memo in your Sage 100 system, it'll show up here. You can view payments that were made as well, and based on which invoice. So you can see this invoice had 2 particular payments on it. And you can view the context as well in the system. And we also have a product item report that all the products this customer has looked at. So if I want at this point here, I can decide to save this email against it. If I switch back to this item here, now you can see it's brought up based on my email address. It's brought up a different match. So if I go into an invoice here, what you can see is you can view the payments against it. You can drill into the details of it as well, where the ship to, the billing to was made, and obviously see all the details, including the line items as well that you can see. But at this point, I might want to log this email against that particular item. And you can see then it just shows the email and I can click save. And this creates what we call a touch point. But I might also then decide I want to actually call the customer. If I call them, I might say, query about reordering. It said the PO is on the way. And what this then means is that other users can see all these details against that particular invoice. So they can see that there's the email that we had, and we can actually view this email as well, and we can see the phone information as well. So query about reordering. So it gives this visibility around a particular invoice from an order point of view. If you want to go back and you can log notes against a particular invoice or a particular record, and these touch points apply to all of these particular items: customers, contacts, orders, vendors, invoices, etc. You can see as well. In terms of the items, you can view particular items as well, including the images. So if I look at this bronze lamp one, for example, you'll see it brings up the lamp. I can click on the image. It brings up a larger image of the actual item itself. And you can see then, of course, the quantities as well that are available for each location. So very useful reference in terms of looking at particular items. But you can also view customer orders. And one of the nice things is if someone queries about a particular order that they had, you can actually even view the current status of the line item. So you can see this order had a line item here, and you can view this, and you can see then the actual quantities that are available at the moment for that. So if they're looking to reorder, you can very easily check if the quantities are available in the system. So that's quite a quick overview of the Outlook integration with the Sage 100 data that Majella mentioned there as well. Oh, I will return to one thing actually. Prospects is useful where you want to actually store some data that perhaps doesn't in your Sage 100 system, but you might have a new company. So if you do a new prospect here, it'll pick up the details from here, for example, and I'll just change this email address here. You can fill in various details in the address, save that, and that data is then there. So you can store prospects before they go into your Sage 100 system.
I guess just in a recap there with the Outlook integration, obviously you're extending the reach of your Sage 100 data because you're allowing people who don't have Sage 100 licenses to actually view all of this data. They are just viewing it, they're not editing the data, but they can glean a great deal of information that they might have to wait for somebody to call them back to give otherwise. It's very quick and easy to navigate, and as I mentioned, from a marketing and sales perspective, having that little additional layer of being able to record touch points, create prospects, means that you have very low level CRM, but ultimately still being able to manage customer relationships by actually being able to record if a customer called in about an invoice, and for everybody who uses Accelerator or MobileX, being able to see that information through either the Outlook integration or MobileX.
Yeah, one thing, just Majella, the application is deployed from the Microsoft App Store, so you can see it's available here. So in terms of installing it to the Outlook clients, it uses the new API. So it's easier for end users to deploy this using the app source, using the particular Get Apps, Add Apps area, as you can see here. Just in terms of the client deployment, is fairly straightforward.
Okay, and we will have Q&A at the very end as well if anybody has any queries. And indeed, if you have them as we go through, please just pop it in the chat box and we'll take note of those and answer any queries before we end the call. So thanks for that, Mark. We'll move on then. So focusing now on MobileX for Sage 100, some of the reasons why you might want to purchase that. Obviously, it's a similar UI to Accelerator, so we don't have any training issues, etc. There's the most obvious thing, that there's greater accessibility. So you can have all of this data in your smartphone to view. If you're on a customer site, very quick and easy to look at what they ordered last, for example, or you're rushing out to a meeting and you need a phone number, you can use your search capability and very quickly pull up somebody's phone number. So that you have that accessibility. Again, the collaboration, which is the same with the Outlook integration. You can view data, you can disseminate what's happening in terms of customer activity. And if you do have a phone conversation or you meet a customer, you can record that within either MXS 100 or ACS 100 for all of your team to be aware of. Again, when you're on site, you don't have to pick up the phone. You can check stock. You could let them know what warehouses there are with the stock, the nearest warehouse to them, and how much stock is on standing order, how much is on purchase order, etc. All of that data is available on the smartphone. And as I said, similar UI. So you've got that basic efficiency, which is the holy grail with any mobile solution. And Mark, I can't recall if you mentioned that, but if there's certain areas, some of the more sensitive data that you don't want exposed, then that can be taken off, because both of these products, just to give a little bit of background on it, are built using our product Data Islands, which is a secure data sharing app. And that's how we're actually able to extract the Sage 100 data and present it in a form that's easy to consume, either on a smartphone or using the Outlook integration. So it's very easy to establish the context on that. So I'll let Mark give you a run through MobileX for Sage 100.
Great, thanks, Majella. So as Majella mentioned, the app is available on the App Store and as a web app, and be on Android soon. So here it is on iOS. It can be installed from the App Store, and if you're using Android, it can be installed from here. So we have those links under online help. So in the system itself, you can see it's fairly familiar. It looks quite like the other system. The slight difference, I suppose, is how we might use the system. So if you're looking at a particular customer, and if we go into a different customer here, maybe Breslin, what you can see here is you've got like items like a link. So if you're out on the road, you've got the company's address, you can click on the link, and if you're on your phone, it'll open that in your Maps application. So it's an easy way for you to do that. If you click on the link here, for example, it'll actually prompt to call or to send an email, depending on the particular item that you've got here. And as we mentioned, the same items apply. So again, of course, the user can log in a particular call as well, or they can even send a message. So and it'll record the SMS. It'll send it. It records it in CRM, and then it sends it. So you might say, "I'm on the way." And if you wanted to record that, you can then send by SMS or WhatsApp, and it'll open those particular applications and allow you to send that record. But it's also then recorded in the item itself as a touch point, as we mentioned earlier. So again, here's our message out touch point. So again, just allows that visibility to be seen in terms of the interactions with the actual end customer. We do also have our email integration in here as well. And what you can do here is you can connect your particular email, and if I can actually view an email if I want. So again, this is just a standard kind of email you get sent, or you can even search on the email. And what it'll do is actually search based on that email. And in this case, it doesn't find a record, so it's prompting me to create a new prospect. But if it did find the record, what I can do is I can go back to my email, I can select this email, and I can, of course, filter and navigate on the emails itself. And if I want to search for a different company, just search with a filter here. So we'll go into this company here. And what I want to do is then save that email. I can now save that email against that particular company as a touch point. So you don't need to go back to the office to actually save those emails. You can see that, and you can save those emails, and those emails then are effectively archived. So if your business has an email archive strategy where you want to keep certain emails, this is one particular method of doing that, where you're saving it within a context of a particular company where it makes sense. So it means you don't have to go back to the office and check for a particular, or log into Outlook and grab your emails you may be sent on your phone. You can do all this right from within your phone itself without having to do all of that again. So as mentioned then, so previously you would have seen the search, and of course you can search across different things here, like phone and email. So if you have a phone number, if you're not really sure what you're looking for, you can put in something, and we have like an index, and the system, you can see the system is bringing up a vendor, company, it's bringing up an order, a contact, for example. So it brings up all these different things, and you can, of course, then just drill into those particular items as you wish as well. And of course, if you're on your phone, you might want to share one of the images, and you can just share that on your phone with the share button. So it allows you to very easily do a lot of work, and you have all that data in your hands straight away on your mobile phone.
So again, the benefits, and it applies to both products. They were designed very much with the idea in mind to extend the reach of your Sage 100 data beyond the accounting team, perhaps, and to your entire sales team. People who are on the road, they could benefit from having all of this information. And again, there is no Sage 100 user login. So you could have 5, 10 Sage 100 users. I'm assuming, I could be wrong, that they're mostly accounts, but you can then extend it by using these products. And that CRM layer that we're referring to, with those touch points of recording calls and recording emails and creating prospects, it's an additional layer that sits on top. It's not Sage 100 data, but it can be exposed in Sage 100 if it's needed as well. So the CRM layer, it's something that Sage 100 doesn't have, but everybody benefits from actually seeing the communications that are going on with the customer. So Mark is going to talk about development ongoing, so go through a couple of the features that will be in the next release in the coming weeks.
Okay, thanks, Michelle. Yeah, so you'll be able to search on touch points, including filtering on dates and searching on the content. So again, if you file an email, you might just want to be able to find it very quickly. And if you have some keywords or particular dates you can put in, and you can actually find a given touch point. So that's something we're adding in. Item price lists are also going in. So this is a screenshot. It's not quite finished, but this is the idea that we'll display these item price lists, and you can then see them as per each item. Item aliases was something that came up from one of our customers, where they want to be able to search on the alias, because a customer will ring and not know the actual product name, but they'll know the alias that's been used when they're buying it. And so this allows you to search on that alias, and it brings up the actual item itself, and you can then drill into each item and see what the alias is that's available for that particular item. Our list filters, probably didn't notice, but our lists didn't have any filters, so we've added that in, where you can filter on the date and the sales order number within the context of actual entity, like a company, for example. So that will apply across all of the lists pretty much. On MobileX, you can, in the next version, you can actually view the folders and actually go into a particular folder. So at the moment, it just shows all of the email items, so you can search on them, but this will just allow you to actually filter down to the folder level as you wish in the system. So that's what's coming out.
Okay, great. So we've had some questions in here. When you receive a message in, is it just copy and paste into MobileX? So I think that's probably related to, the way you can dictate a phone message into your phone, Mark, when you're sending a message.
If you get a message in, yeah, you have to copy. You would have to copy and paste it. Yeah. So effectively, if you got an email in, or not an email, an SMS in, yes, you would then to do message. You would have to copy and paste it into here. Okay, so whatever it may be. Yeah.
And just another one around that. Can a Sage 100 user see touch points even if they don't have an Accelerator or MobileX license?
They can't at the moment. No, that again is probably something for the future, but at the moment they can't.
It is data in the cloud, though, so a super user could download it. But,
because it's used because it works with Data Islands, you could give someone access to the Data Islands web application where they can browse all the data. So one of the advantages of Data Island is the ability to move data in and out very, very quickly. So the data itself could be imported, it could be viewed in the cloud, but it can also be imported into a local database if you want to run a report yourself on that. So if you have Crystal Reports, you use Crystal Reports at Sage 100, you could just import that data from the cloud as part of the job, import jobs, and run a report based on that data. So that data is available to you. You can take that data down onto your own server as well. Absolutely. It's your data. And we just make it easy for you to
consume. Yeah. Another question here. Is this app available for Apple computer and iPhone versions of the Outlook app?
So it's available in Outlook. The Outlook client, it uses the new, well, it's I suppose new is probably subjective, but it's the latest add-in functionality. So if you're on the Mac, you can't, with Outlook, and you have the latest version, you can use the Outlook integration. We haven't implemented it within Outlook itself. So to actually connect the email, so the email is that you actually run the app itself. So the app itself is available on the App Store, and within the app itself, you connect to your email, to your Office 365 account, and that lists your emails here. So your emails are here. So it's kind of going the opposite direction. You're connecting and bringing the emails in, and then you action the emails from here, not from within Outlook itself. And we made that decision because previously we did have an Outlook integration within the Outlook mobile client, but it's just we just found it wasn't very user friendly to use. Using apps within the iPhone, we just felt it just wasn't really working. We felt so we took this opposite view where instead of doing it that way, we would have an app on the iOS App Store, the Android Store, and connect to the email and bring the emails in. And this may in future then also facilitate us bringing in, connecting to Gmail, for example, or even to IMAP emails.
Okay, one of our current customers there, partners, a little off topic, does the MobileX for Sage CRM file emails now too. So that's coming. It hasn't been released, but it is coming, yeah.
That's coming soon, yeah. It hasn't been released. We're just about to go into final testing for that, but that is coming, yeah. As part of your subscription, yeah.
Okay, does the frequency of data updates impact on the product price? That would be a no.
No, it doesn't. I mean, we wouldn't have it running every 2 minutes, So we only update when it does an update, it only updates from the last time it did an update. So it'll only push up new data into the cloud. But it won't keep pushing up all of the data. The initial export can take a little bit of time to do, but after that, it's just bringing in the latest data and updating that.
And just another question here: how often is a snapshot of the data updated?
It could be.
That's a choice, isn't it?
Yeah, that's just a choice. It depends. As part of the conversation, we see how active you are and how often you need it updated, and then we just configure the system to run at different intervals, depending on it. I mean, so we do support ProvideX and the Microsoft SQL Server versions of 100. So we work on both. If you're working on ProvideX, because of the structure of that, it can have locking issues with ProvideX. So you maybe do it less in that instance. Yeah, it just depends.
Okay. Does the MobileX for Sage 100 sync data from customer server?
Does it say, do they mean from the cloud, from the customer server?
That's what it says. Does the MobileX for Sage 100 sync data from customer server? That's the extent.
There's no synchronization as such. So wherever your Sage 100 is, if it's on the Sage cloud, it doesn't really matter where it is. The data islands part of it takes a snapshot of the data and pushes it into the cloud, and then the web app connects to that cloud snapshot of the data, and then on the act wherever the Sage 100 system is, then there's jobs run at interval to keep the snapshot up to date. So it doesn't synchronize back down, not at the moment anyway.
Okay, and question: do you support Gmail, which you covered in that it could be down the line, but not as of now?
Not at the moment, but it's certainly on our minds. So.
Okay, and I think we have one more question about the security of the data using the system.
Yeah. So I suppose traditionally what happens is the challenges sometimes people have with connecting in is that you have to open up your actual server to expose your data. So we avoid all of that by having it that you can only push data out or pull data back in using data islands. So there is no door that needs to be opened, no port that needs to be opened. It's all from on your server, and you effectively then decide, does the data go out or do I pull data back in? You control that. So there's no kind of door into your system. And that's one of the advantages of having the data away from your actual ERP server. And also, if you were to have that other approach, as I mentioned with ProvideX, you potentially have locking issues and page issues because of the structure of it. So we just judged it's best to just avoid all of that. And we think this is a just more secure way of actually exposing your data without exposing your company to any malicious actors.
We just one other question just came in. Will
Sure.
editing be introduced at any point for Accelerator for Sage 100? So I think it's not live data as such.
Yeah, so you can edit the prospects because that's not Sage 100 data. It lives on the cloud. So prospects themselves, they can be edited and deleted. But the actual Sage 100 data at the moment, no, it can't be updated. Not at the moment, no.
So it doesn't affect your processes as you are as a company because it's just people have viewing access of the data.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, it's a tricky area in terms of do you want your salespeople updating your ERP data? I'm not sure you do. So it's kind of a tricky area. It might just depend on the business. If it's a small business running Sage 100 and it's the owner, they may want that access, but I think in larger environments they maybe don't want that. So it's kind of a tricky. It might just be a workflow thing. There might just be a way of request to do it, and then you apply it, or you don't, or you approve it, or you don't approve it. But we're not quite there yet.
Okay, well, I think that's all the questions we have. Mark, thanks for that. We'll just finish up with the contact details there. So if anybody would like more information, or you'd like to place an order or a quote, the link on our own website there is crmtogether.com/quote-order, because we do have partners on the call. If it's a customer, talk to your Sage business partner. If they're already a reseller with us, we would be directing you back to them to place the order anyway. But it's certainly no harm to talk to us either way. We'd be delighted to chat with you and answer any questions that you might have regarding your own data. So I think that's a wrap. And
yeah, great. Just
green there, Mark.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, just finally, yeah, thanks everyone. And if anyone has any feedback, please send them on. We'd love to hear your feedback, good, bad, and
different.
Otherwise, yeah, different.
Thank you everybody for your time.